General Zhang Kongwen is accused of treason, and although he is innocent, a squad of executioners is sent to him. They execute Zhang himself and severely wound his son, Zhan Hong. Hong falls into a river where he is pulled out by a girl named Ying. When the young man comes to, he realizes that he remembers nothing about who he is. As his memory gradually begins to return, he recalls that Ying's father was an aide to his murdered father, one of the men who betrayed him. Although Bloody Blade in the Snow looks like one of those dubious films that were launched around the turn of the late 2000s and early 2000s, only to be shelved while waiting for better times, that is not the case. In fact, the situation is exactly the opposite. Only 6 months passed between the start of filming and the movie's arrival on streaming platforms. Enough time to shoot Bloody Blade, put it through a full post-production cycle, and even rename it. Interestingly, at the announcement stage, the film was presented as a theatrical release, but the filmmakers were likely being disingenuous. There is nothing on screen that suggests they ever seriously plan to draw audiences into theaters. Structurally, the film is built not as a wide theatrical release, but as a product for online platforms. Following the Netflix playbook, it opens with a flashy action sequence designed to keep viewers from turning it off the moment they hit play. After that, however, Bloody Blade in the Snow switches into an energy-saving mode, in which the creators economize on everything they can: spectacle, originality, and, most importantly, inspiration. The film was made by a creative team that released about half a dozen low-budget action movies in 2024 to 25, including Iron Lady Sniper, Whispers of Betrayal, Unrelenting Drug Interdiction, and Blind Murder. These are not worthless films, but all of them suffer from obvious formulaic assembly line production. Identical stylistic choices, the same sets, the same actors. As a result, Bloody Blade in the Snow feels less like a standalone movie and more like another cell in a production spreadsheet, easily confused with the one next to it. This time, the almost obligatory Lika, who struggles to fit into period films because of her surgically altered face, not only plays the female lead but also serves as one of the film's producers. Bloody Blade in the Snow was made not because its writers came up with a story that had to be told, but because its producers figured out how to sell it before it was even shot. One of the leading roles went to rising TV star Yu-Chen, and the Chinese title of the film differs by just one character from the title of a highly anticipated TV series. Hardly a coincidence. Clearly, someone seriously hoped that part of the audience would swallow the substitution without asking too many questions. It is difficult not to notice that substitution, though, because everything about Bloody Blade in the Snow screams its momentary, disposable nature. Yes, its creators have experience and talent, and the film is assembled according to all the rules of bland but watchable online cinema. So for viewers who are not yet tired of stories about conspiracies, betrayal, and revenge set against the backdrop of the late Ming Dynasty, this movie can be watched without irritation, but also without much interest. Of course, it is only a pale shadow of Brotherhood of Blades and Reign of Assassins, films whose form the creators managed to imitate, but which they chose not to fill with anything unique. As a result, the movie leaves behind that familiar sense of emptiness that comes after watching a film made solely because it was convenient to make it.